Hi, everyone. Today I want to talk about the importance of being present during times of uncertainty. We all struggle when we are facing challenges of uncertainty. It's normal. We're programmed, if you will, to look for places in our lives where we feel we are secure. And we're looking for the things that we can trust that provide us with a sense of safety and stability. And when things come up in our lives that threaten that stability, we're, of course, going to feel discombobulated, depending on the level of the disruption of stability in our lives and certainty in our lives. We're going to feel that much more discombobulated. So right now, with everything that's going on, there's a lot of uncertainty. Our entire world, our individual world, and actually the entire world, everything that we have known to be true and secure and stable is being turned upside down. And so as the curve of the virus moves through the world, in our communities, the curve of our own experience of instability and discombobulation is also peaking and coming back to homeostasis. So wherever you are in this process, be gentle with yourself and understand that it's normal. It's normal to feel once you sort of have this realization, like nothing's the same, to kind of be walking through your life in sort of a fog, being unable to figure out what to do next, if you want to do anything next. Who are you? Where am I? What? Right? It's just a very sort of like sense of after the bomb goes off, of shock and disorientation. So all of that is very normal. What we can tend to do in order to gain back that sense of certainty and stability and security is hold on to everything that we knew before, to rail against the change, to continue to say no, 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 and create more anxiety and more tension in the body or in your sphere, because you're not in a space of acceptance. You're still fighting to maintain something that is no longer there. You can do a little practice where you just kind of sit and say over and over again, no, 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 no. You know, just do this with yourself and feel that tension and resistance in your body. And then practice saying yes, 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 right? And just in doing this on here, I feel the tension releasing up here first and then through here, my chest. That is really important to understand, that the more we resist what is happening, which is an extreme change in what we've ever known, the more we resist that, the more difficult it is going to be for us to move into whatever comes next. If we're fighting with it, we're going to up our anxiety because there's nothing we can do to change it. Nothing. And so we're like a bird that keeps slamming up against the window, thinking it's a lake. The reflection on the window is a lake, and it isn't. Till we knock ourselves out. Running around, watching, news stories over and over again, thinking that we've got this kind of false sense of security. If I just know enough, I can protect myself. Well, we don't know. We truly do not know what we don't know. And so we need to say yes to that. Yes, there is a lot of uncertainty out there. I don't know. And I have to accept that. We also can move into defeat. I have no power here. There's nothing I can do. And just completely shut down, detach, sleep all day, drink all day, Netflix all day. And I'm not saying that any of that at any given time is so bad. It's when it just overtakes us in the midst of uncertainty. That's when these reactions become very problematic. In many ways, they're very normal given the situation. As we're moving through that destabilizing force, the bomb going off, and as the dust starts to settle, or we choose to want to settle the dust, we'll move more into balanced responses. A little Netflix, right? A little exercise, a little intention setting. So that's kind of what I want to talk about is first to normalize wherever you are in this experience as you have really started to get clearer and clearer that we really are in the middle of a whole new world and we don't know what's going on, and uncertainty is really the name of the game right now. As you can start to make peace with that and say yes to that, and you are able to recognize what your more reactive patterns are, you might now be wondering, well, how do I get out of that? What do I need to do? And so I'm going to make a few suggestions today. One is to be very aware and set an intention for what you want your response to be, what you want your energy to be. I think most of us want to feel a sense of calm, a sense of some control over ourselves, over our responses. And one of the ways that you can do that is by doing a little grounding ritual every day or at different times throughout the day. That can be anything from setting your watch to go off morning, midday, and evening to do some deep breathing exercises or to do meditation. It can be setting an intention as you start your day. The intentions that I set every day, the ritual that I have with that is to light a little incense. And what I say to to set the tone of my day is I ask in prayer to remove any blocks or negativity within and around me so that I may be a clear channel of guidance, wisdom for myself and for any of my clients. Back to spirit, peace, love. I light incense. I light Palo Santo, chips, and the smoke that comes around, right? Like I'm breathing it, and I'm allowing myself to be in that very sensual experience of presence and intentional mind setting. I am clearing any blocks and any negativity, and I am connecting to my highest, wisest self, if you will. You can light a candle. When you're setting those intentions and you're doing those little ritualistic action steps, you're telling your brain, I'm about ready to calm. I'm about ready to center. I'm about ready to ground. And as you do that every day, your cells in your body really do start to respond before you've even had that full experience, right? They just know it's coming. The calm is coming. And so you can be very intentional in that. Of course, another way to ground is to sit in meditation. Meditation, for a lot of us who have generalized anxiety or have learned to cope with anxiety by staying busy, or who just really are in intense fight or flight during this time, it may be really difficult for you to sit in meditation. So here are some other ways to consider being in a meditative state. And a meditative state means I am. You're just there, you're being, you're present. You're not thinking of the future, you're not dwelling on the past, you're right here. One of the ways to do that is to listen to guided visualizations. There's plenty of that on YouTube, or there's probably podcasts out there to listen to someone guiding you through visualization, guided meditations, if you will. Other ways are to be in a creative process. Anytime you are in a creative process, you are in a meditative state. Something that really pulls you in. That the latest craze, or a craze that came up over, last 5 years, was coloring. That can be very calming, because if you allow yourself to really get into it, and you're not making it a coloring book party, you're doing it for yourself, and just sitting in that quiet space and really focusing on the colors that you're choosing, the pattern that you're looking at, that quiets the mind and gets you real present. Any hobby that you enjoy will put you in that very meditative, mindful, present state. Gardening. If you enjoy gardening, if you don't, might feel more like a chore. Writing. Allow yourself to just journal your experience. Be with it. Doing vision boards, cutting out pictures, just the act of flipping through the magazines and looking at the pictures that you enjoy, cutting them out, gluing them on your board, whatever you choose. It's all very meditative and grounding. Cooking. Being able to be present with all of the senses that are involved in cooking. You know, putting the beautiful colors that come together, the scents that come together, the creative process of, you know, what do I have in my refrigerator and how could that come together? You know, you just, when you're in that creative space, you don't have time to be worrying about all of the what ifs and what isn't. You're here, you're present, you're in the now. And I want to encourage you that if you are not familiar with meditating and holding that quiet space for yourself, to practice using your hobbies or your favorite creative activities to quiet your mind daily. Even walking. If you're walking, do a walking meditation where you're walking and you are 100% bringing in not your thoughts, not all the what if thinking, but your experience of all of the five senses. So of a meditation that includes whatever it is that you're doing. So in this instance, it would be walking, where you repeat the activity that you're doing over and over again using five sentences for each sense. Okay, so what would that look like? Let's say you're walking. Let's say you're, what am I doing right now? I'm sitting. Let's say you're standing in the shower. Whatever it is, you identify that and then you add the senses. So let's say we're walking and you're using your walking meditation, the bilateral stimulation of your steps. In order to make this very meditative, you're saying to yourself, walking, I see the leaves blowing in the wind. Walking, I see the birds flying over my head. Walking, I see that couple across the street. Walking, I see a cat sitting on the fence. Walking, I see the blue, clear sky. It's your first sense. Walking, I hear the wind chimes over the fence. Walking, I hear the bird song. Walking, I hear a lawnmower in the distance. Walking, I hear, see, so it becomes very repetitive, okay? And you want to do 5 sentences for each of your senses. Sight, hearing, touch, which would be the skin. So walking, I feel the sweat starting on my neck. I don't know. Walking, I feel the humidity in the air. Walking, I feel the sun hitting the back of my legs, right? Okay. So what did I say? Seeing, hearing, touching, or feeling on the kind of skin. Tasting, you're probably not gonna taste a whole lot. You don't have to have 5. And smell. Again, you may not have 5, but that's okay. This walking meditation is something I used to do when I had extraordinarily high anxiety and needed an extraordinary amount of control. And it was the best way for me to ground and get centered when I would start in my spiral. I have a, what can I show you? Let me pause this. Just pause this for a second. Okay, so as another idea for something to do that's creative, and maybe combine it with some of the other things you're trying to do during our cocooning time. Right now, I heard a lot of people are, working on cleaning out closets and doing their to-do list, and it's not necessarily, fun, right? It can be, it just depends on who you are and where you are in that curve of kind of acceptance. So one of the things I started doing, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe a couple of years ago, was I started practicing minimalism. And one of the things I noticed, this was longer ago than a couple of years ago, is that I just really wear the same jewelry over and over again, where it used to be I bought costume jewelry all the time and different pieces of jewelry, and I still liked it. I just never wore it. And so what I decided to do was take all the jewelry that I don't use but still like, and kind of this was a pair of earrings. I broke it up, and I use it, making beads, repurposed to make little projects. So you can hot glue pieces of jewelry. This isn't torn up, but on like old picture frames or boxes, candle holders, like the outside of little glass candle holders like this. Now, if you use hot glue, that's going to fall off on a candle holder. But if you wanted to make it like a pretty little jar for a vase or to hold something else. Anyway, you break up your old pieces of jewelry and create some beads. I don't know if I already showed you that. This was a necklace. Anyway, you get the gist. You're staying in a very creative but enjoyable meditative space and getting out of all of the what ifing. Getting out of your need to maintain a sense of certainty when we don't have it right now. A lot of people believe that the need or the opposite of uncertainty is certainty. But that is not true. In reality, the opposite of uncertainty is wonderment. And if you can stay in that space of wonderment and be present with what is, you truly can regain a sense of control. and creativity. They say necessity is the mother of invention. You know, there's something, many times, inventions and something that was creative had to be sparked by not having that thing and needing it and recognizing and being uncertain of how to do it and starting to question. And, you know, that runs across the gamut. But sort of like what that looks like. But for our time right now, I think attuning to yourself with wonderment. Why am I reacting like this? What's coming up for me? What am I telling myself about this situation, about myself in the situation, along with sparking that sense of, okay, so if I were to accept and I were to say yes to what is happening right now, which is, I don't really know what is happening. I know I have to stay home. Okay, so if that's the case, what can I do? That reminds me that I am a powerful, creative being. It doesn't have to be a powerful action, but something that's very creative can bring you and yourself and your being back to a state of calm. So I hope that helped. And I will also be posting a grounding meditation. I think I'm calling it awakening meditation. That I think you will find useful. It's a guided meditation if you want to do something like that. Okay, thank you. Take care.